We can officially remove these two, the certified fodder, from the Kengan Omega Battle Royale. Both of them have been defeated by Shen Wulong the Connector, and as everyone predicted, with no difficulty at all. Apart from that, we have some unfortunate turn of events that I'm going to be breaking down, and why the Kengan Association may absolutely be cooked. Lock in, subscribe here on Mysterious Weeb for all the Kengan content you need, playlist linked in the top comment. Let's get into it. So welcome to Kengan Omega chapter 329. So I'm imagining 99.9% of people watching today's video, the second they saw these two on the official roster, they assumed they would be fodder, not relevant to the tournament at all, whether that be Wulong victims or just victims of another Kengan fighter. And then when we saw that these two were waiting at the front for the connector to come out to be the first ones to challenge him, absolute destruction was bound to occur. Sandro definitely didn't subvert anyone's expectations in this week's chapter. Last week we had that break. I went over how that was set up in the prior week. This is pretty much in schedule, what they were planning to do and announce when it comes to the Japanese platform where they read Kengan. Komiki didn't officially announce it the same way for some reason. It is what it is. But the thing remains is this break probably ensured them that the art and consistent chapters will be occurring for potentially the remainder of this Battle Royale arc, however long it ends up going. Which does seem like it's going to be a chunky one, which is for the best. They did actually come in with a strategy though, not to outright defeat Wulong, to actually push him out of the arena, which is pretty respectable and does kind of highlight to me that they're part of the broader Kengan Association group who are participating in this tournament just to ensure Wulong doesn't win, not for their own desire or want when it comes to the wish. They're part of the big group directly opposing the worm and slowly whittling him down throughout the battle. However, they didn't stand a chance. The second we got this panel around a year and a half ago when it comes to Kengan Omega, anyone trying to jump Wulong that isn't stronger than this group of fighters, featuring, you know, two Fangs of Metsudo's, top career members, and them using weapons as well, we know they're absolutely cooked, particularly these two. With Wulong at first taking it easy on them, you can say. However, he begins to lock in and shows his pure domination and destructive power, something I'm actually glad for. I've been wanting to see a serious Shen Wulong and him absolutely destroy people, so it looks like this is going to be the version of him we're getting throughout this battle. We got the Purgatory CEO yapping. They had a good plan. If executed right, the pushing out of bounds strategy could have even beaten Shen Wulong. At this point, bro, just shut up. So the first two eliminations, no threats or I guess major players have been defeated. But this brings us to the section of the recent chapter that I'm kinda disappointed with. We see Yan pull up to Wulong right away, claiming that he sent the others on ahead, meaning in the very next chapter, we could be seeing the almighty Chopstick Johnny fighting some of the Kengan Association members, which is pretty cool, or the reveal of some of the other guys that were just recognized as numbers prior, so that's something to look forward to. However, we see that Yan is, as always, just chilling with Shen Wulong. That is the aspect I'm personally disappointed with. I would have preferred Yan to be doing his own thing, but now he's just going to be next to Wulong. Yes, eventually he's going to be forced to fight and do something, but while next to Wulong, the connector is probably going to be doing all the fighting, as this is pretty much a game for him to enjoy himself, which is pretty much the common trend and big issue I've had with Yan since his official reveal in the Kengan story. The same chapter as Wulong's existence being revealed as well, taking away from his hype to an insane degree. Prior to Wulong and Yarn's design reveal, Yarn was built up as this head of the worm, the one above the Tiger Nico and Edward Wu, who are pretty much on equal standing, but Yarn is the figure, the one who is the head of the worm. But then with the introduction of Shen Wulong, the true leader you could say, all of his hype and stocks has pretty much gone down the drain, and since then, realistically he hasn't really done much. The one mini clash with Kanogito was impressive and highlighted him as a monster, but apart from that, all he's gotten is impressive statements and him being confident in defeating and fighting other top tiers such as Luhan, Gilbert Wu, and then the statement made by Shen Wulong that Yarn would probably be capable of defeating Gai Mukaku. Outside of that, bro's literally done nothing but be by Wulong's side, and throughout this battle royale, I was hoping to see him finally lock in and demonstrate the true extent of his capabilities, whether that be early in the battle or later on. But with him now and already chilling with Wulong, we're probably not going to see him do too much anytime soon, unless the major players begin pulling up on the connector like Lolong, Kanogito and some others for some type of other group fight where Wulong faces multiple of them and then Yarn is busy with like a 1v1 with Kanogito once again, something along the lines of that. However, moving on to what could potentially happen next, it's possible we could have some early defeats, whether it be characters who are participating for their own wish getting eliminated by some other Kengan fighters, whether it be some of the newly introduced worm characters fighting Kengan Association members, some are getting eliminated. Anything is really possible, but that leaves 62 fighters remaining at the current point. So let me know your thoughts on this chapter. It was quite short and realistically not that enjoyable considering it was just these two fodder, but I'm glad they were taken out in a single chapter, particularly with the break last week to wait for this type of chapter following that. Nothing too amazing. They got random glaze from the Purgatory CEO and Wulong himself, however they never stood a chance regardless of what plan they come up with next. I am interested to see some of the other approaches that end up happening, but we're going to have to wait and see that. Not a bad start by any means, I'm still insanely hyped. I just wanted a different outcome and approach they would use for the likes of Yarn, but that isn't occurring today unfortunately. Now before leaving today's video, if you haven't already, check out Gamersubs at the top of the description. Using code MWEEB gives you a 10% discount. There's also free samples available for you for your first time checking out the website. I'll paste a link in the top of the description alongside the pinned comment as well, next to the Kengan playlist for you guys to check out. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Watch this video on screen right now. And that's it guys. Peace.